Welcome to Super Gamer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the new Super Gamer Podcast, episode 16. This week's episode is a delight. And it has to do with Twitch streaming and World of Warcraft. It's an episode that I hope gets the point across that you're never too old to game, you're never too old to stream, and you're never too old to inspire. New streamers will hopefully get some streaming advice. You'll also learn a little bit about Australian holidays. I did, anyway. And one thing that comes up is ignoring people on World of Warcraft when you need to. And one thing I'll just say that I've learned through playing Warcraft Classic, there is a limit to how many people you can have on your ignore list. I have hit it twice. And that seems weird. Why is there a limit to that? Get back to me, Blizzard. So, thank you for being here. Find us at supergamerpodcast.com, on Facebook at the new Super Gamer Podcast. You can listen to us wherever podcasts are listened to. Comment, subscribe, tell your friends. And without further ado, on with the show. My guest this week is a Twitch streamer, relatively new. I believe you've been streaming for about 7 weeks now, as of this recording anyway. You've been a gamer for more than 40 years. You're a self-described geeky nana. And you've gained a bit of recognition lately because of a tweet you sent out encouraging older gamers, particularly women, to get into the streaming game. I have Haughty Chicken here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for chatting to me. It's fabulous.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess we'll start. Yeah, is it 7 weeks now you've been streaming?
I actually had a look because a few people have asked me how long it's been, and I think it was about the 7th of April when I made my very first stream. Okay. So I think we're getting along to probably more, like 8 weeks, something like that. But not that long ago, certainly not that long ago.
And it took you 2 years to work up the courage to do it.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. About 2 years ago, I wanted to do it. And my wonderful husband bought me a microphone and we started talking about it. And then I was just too nervous. I just thought, no, not yet. Can't do it. And for a lot of reasons, I thought it was for the cool kids to do.
Right. Well, what is it after, I guess it would have been 38 years of gaming at that point. What made you think, now I want to stream?
Well, I think, to be honest, it was our current times. It was the pandemic, a little bit more time at home. And I was going back to WoW, which I love. That's a bit of my comfortable space, a bit of self-care, a bit of gaming. And I was quite the watcher of YouTube to learn about gaming and what was going on, gaming news. Not really Twitch. I mean, in my mind, Twitch was more for Fallout and Ninja and folks like that. And then I did start to watch Twitch. And I was looking, to be honest, I was looking for people like me. I was looking for older gamers, not necessarily female, but that was a bonus. So I was looking for someone to relate to who was playing a game that I liked, whether it be WoW or something else. And I really couldn't find anyone. I found one wonderful gamer in Sweden at first. And the more I looked and the more I thought, why aren't there more people like me? Because I know there's a lot of older gamers like me, but why are they not streaming? And that's when I decided, alrighty then, time to put my toe in the water. And so I did.
Very cool. And how did you work up that courage?
I think it was a case of just do it. My husband certainly follows that, what is it? Feel the fear and do it anyway, that quote. And so I thought I would just do it. And I'm reasonably technically savvy and it's helpful that he's also that way. And so I was able to set it up. I watched a lot of YouTubes very quickly and there are a few people that I rely on for their information. So once I had it going, I thought, I'll just see what happens. And I thought, no one's going to really talk to me. No one's going to really watch me. That actually wasn't the case. And others like me and not like me found me. So it was really, I just pushed that button. I was so nervous to do it. I was so very nervous to do it. But that was it, really, boots and all.
You got into it a bit already there, but how has your streaming experience been for this past 8 weeks?
It's been it's been surprisingly rewarding for me. I think you mentioned that I consider myself an introvert, and indeed I am. So I thought that it would perhaps be too much, for me. It would be too social, be really putting myself out there. But it's been very rewarding in that it's given me more confidence, I think, especially given my own judgment that I might have been, too old or not interesting or not good enough at the game. When in actual fact, the reward on a personal level has been terrific. I felt more inspired to do more inspired to connect with people. From the technological side, that's been very challenging. I've had to learn very, very quickly to try and make my stream interesting for people. Even just the technical aspects of setting it up, and I now have the microphone I need to set up later this week, and I'm now thinking about emotes and alerts and copyright of music and all these things that were not normally at the forefront of my thinking day to day. Whereas now I'm thinking all the time, how can I give back to the little community that is now growing, that come in and watch me when I stream a few times a week. So all of those things, but fast paced is probably the biggest thing I will say. It's very fast paced in the
Right.
learning aspect.
And you stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday,
Yes, I do. Yeah, yeah.
it's in the morning for me, but it's at night for you in Australia there.
It is. It is. It is. I stream quite late in Australian time through to the early mornings. It's about 4 hours. I try not to make it any longer than that.
Right. I'm a little, I guess I'm not surprised. I read you describe yourself as an introvert, but watching your stream, you're very conversational.
I do chat a lot, more than I thought that I would. Although consider myself quite introverted, in real life I'm a social worker and I'm a counsellor, so I love people and I love talking to people, and I particularly love listening to people. And I think when you stream, it still feels, in one way, intimate. You're not, although you may have a group of people watching you. And the other night I had a large amount of people come in and visit me. It was quite surprising. I think I had 700 views or something. It still doesn't feel like you're in a crowded room. You still get that intimate sense of almost one-on-one, which is a really unexpected result from streaming.
I did a bit of radio work for a few years, and it is funny how talking into a microphone, how quickly you can forget that there are people listening.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I was in a room or a space physically and had all of these people in front of me, and I have spoken to people before in a professional sense, and that's where I get quite nervous and not sure if I can really cope with that. You push on through, but when you're behind a monitor and you're chatting away, I think it becomes really easy. That is perhaps one of the most surprising things that I've found, that I can engage so well. It's lovely. It is really lovely.
Yeah. Is it tough or exhausting at all? 4 hours is a long time to be on.
Look, it can be. It can be tiring, especially because I stream late at night. Again, with the current state and pandemic and such, my husband works from home, and so I'm trying to put my streams around that and around our family life. And I am a bit of a chatty person in stream. I think if you were just playing a game and not necessarily engaging with your community, it may not be as tiring. And so I like to keep my streams. I consider 4 hours to be short compared to some streamers. They may stream for 6, 7, 8 hours. But for me, I prefer to have a shorter stream, and I don't stream every day. I think that's a matter of balance for me as a streamer as well, just to keep my own health, mental health, and self-care in check.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of your Twitter replies. You seem to be involved with the Twitch community, and you often seem to reply to people saying like, health first and take care of yourself, that kind of stuff. I guess for me, one thing I've always like, do you need to get up and walk around? I feel like 4 hours hunched over the computer, I might need to hold on, everyone.
Look, I think in terms of, I mean, again, I will stress I'm such a new streamer, but when you think about health as a streamer, and I have watched some other videos as well, where some of the larger streamers are pushing, particularly for mental health, is take that break, don't be afraid to bring up your Be Right Back screen as often as you need to. I actually have because you can redeem Twitch points. I often say to people, I forget to drink, please remind me. And that my community are lovely. They always, choose that, please hydrate. I try and eat before I stream, and just be, your emotional health as well. At the moment, it's quite topical of what's been happening for a particular streamer, and she's an older streamer as well, Shirley Curry, and I've been catching up with that this morning in terms of her mental health, and she's stepping back because of the impact of streaming on her emotionally and physically. And I think that's important to consider when people are critical of you as well. It can be draining to give to your community, but that has positive rewards for me as well. But when you have feedback coming to you that's negative, or you have trolls, I think you really need to be very aware of what you take in and what you personalize. So that also comes into streaming health, I think. It's not just a physical thing.
Have you yourself had any trolls in your stream, or you ever have to deal with that kind of stuff?
In my stream, I'm still relatively new, but that's certainly got the attention of trolls already, and I have experienced that live on stream. It's really only happened once in a way that impacted my stream and impacted me so far. So I've been lucky at this point.
Yeah. How do you handle that? Is it just sort of ban them and get on with it?
The technical aspect is yes, to ban them. If it's to deal with it personally though, and I did a little bit of reading. I have a little bit of an understanding about trolls and the fact that it's not actually about me. It's very much about them and their behaviour. Trolls generally do not care about you at all. They don't care about the response of their behaviour on you or your stream or your brand. And so I think it's a matter of quickly disengaging from a technical aspect, banning them and taking the power back off the troll. Their influence is not wanted in my community, nor would it be in anyone's community. And so I think if you take that control back immediately by, removing any influence they have, that's the best response, I think.
Right. Actually, bringing this into World of Warcraft, which you've been playing for pretty much its whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back into Warcraft Classic. I took a long break. I stopped at Wrath of the Lich King, and now I'm back into Classic. And
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you. I do notice though I'm older now, and before, where if someone was bothering me, I would have did a back and forth with them. I'm so quick now to just ignore.
Yes.
And that's the end of it.
Yeah, I really think that's the best response. I mean, obviously, if you went a little bit deeper into it, there's something going on for that person that they feel the need to behave this way. But I think putting your own care, whether it's your care for yourself personally, or caring for your community, or caring for your brand, and let's face it, Twitch is a business for many people. It is a brand. It's a representation of you and the people that follow you. It's getting that person out of that zone. And to me, ignoring, banning, and removing them as quickly as possible is the correct response.
So for your Warcraft career, you have 9 Warlocks?
Yes, and I do get teased about that. I think I have 39 characters at this point, and many have gone by the wayside over the years. They've not made the cut, and they've been moved out to make more room because we only have so many spaces. But I absolutely love Warlocks. I think they're the coolest class. I won't deny my bias, and I never deny my bias.
And they're all destruction spec.
Yes. And don't I get flack from the other specs in the channel? And I say to them, that's fine. You do you. I'll continue with my distro. Thank you very much. And it's not that I've not tried the other specs. I have, albeit maybe very, very briefly. When the cool kids on the block were the Affliction, I gave that a bit of a go for about a week, and so that I could say I tried it. I know that's not really trying, but no. Look, you play what you love, and I've loved the spec for so long that I believe that I've been able to get out the most that I can, even if we're not given as much love as we might like at particular times from Blizzard. So, and I think that's the case with most people in their classes.
Well, I can certainly sympathize with the Warlock. When I played Vanilla, I was a Warlock, and now that I'm back in Classic, I'm a Warlock. So.
And how's that go? And is it? And are you Destro?
Well, I guess I never did raiding when I played way back when, and now now I'm doing raiding, which is a lot of fun. But I guess you kind of are expected to play the best version
Mm,
of
yes,
your
yeah.
character, so
Hmm.
it's half destruction, half affliction, basically.
Okay, well, that's not too bad. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did enjoy going back to classic. We played for a little while, and it brought back a lot of warm and fuzzies of back in the day. It really did. But the retail pulled me back for a whole lot of other reasons. So
Are
I've
you
left my poor little classic alone.
excited for Shadowlands?
Oh, so excited. So very excited. I think it's going to be fantastic. I've tried to avoid some of the alpha streams. There's an awful lot out there. But I've been having a little sneak peeks. I'm interested in the Covenants very much, particularly for my main. And I love Transmog. So I had to have a look at the gear sets, the news that's coming through. Be interesting to see what makes the cut and what doesn't. But I won't talk too much about that because I don't want to spoil anyone's. Because I know a lot of people in my community that come and watch me are avoiding it. They don't want to watch anything on Alpha or anything about Shadowlands. But my goodness, I think it promises to deliver a lot of things that have been lacking in the last couple of expansions. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm excited that they're. I guess it maybe seems weird, but I'm glad they're going back to the level 60 cap because
Mm-hmm.
part of the reason I got out of it was it just became so unwieldy for me. I thought I can't possibly do all this.
No, no. And I think too for new players, and I'm delighted to say I've met some new players on Twitch, like brand new to the game. I can't imagine what it would be like now coming to the game and thinking, oh my goodness, 120, how could I get there? I wouldn't mind setting a goal for end game rating, but I couldn't possibly. So I know there's a lot of people, pros and cons, and some are not so sure about the squish. I'll call it the squish. I think let's try and, because at what point do you keep on going? At what point? I think
Right.
it'll be a good thing. We'll see what happens. We don't have a lot of choice. We'll see what happens.
Do you have a favorite version of WoW?
Look, I do. I love the Lich King. I love the design of the Lich King. I was actually fortunate enough to. I was living in the States when it was released, and I did the whole midnight release thing with my hubby. We were around the block and around the corner at a store. I don't remember the name, and it was so exciting. It was such a buzz for the Lich King. There were people at the front dressed up, giving out blue bottles of mana, or some people call it mana. It was just an exciting time, and I thought that the storyline was magnificent. The graphics, and I love Naxxramas. Very sad that that's no longer there. So for me, it was Lich King, but I do need to shout out Burning Crusade because Karazhan is my all-time favorite raid. I love that raid so much.
Yeah, another one that I
Yeah,
missed.
yeah, that was fantastic, fantastic times.
I guess getting a bit more into the weeds here. I think I heard on your stream you don't use macros.
No,
Neither
look,
do I. So I
okay,
want to know your reasoning.
because I find it very frustrating. For me, it's a bit like, and this is going to sound like a really strange description. It's a bit like driving an automatic car versus a manual. Whilst I drive an automatic car, I feel more control in a manual, and I don't know if this is going to make sense to you, but for me with macros and not using macros, I like to have full control about with what I'm doing and how I'm playing and the choices that I make. And so with my particular play style in my class, that means no macros. I like to do everything manually and know exactly when and where and what's happening when I play.
Right.
Perhaps for other classes, and speaking again, like my husband plays well, he does use macros as a druid bear, and so I understand for some classes it's fantastic and I won't say critical, but it makes a big difference to their gaming style. Not for me,
I,
and also sometimes I get very confused by them, to be blunt.
I'm the same way. I never even explored them enough to really know. I have an idea of what they are in my head, and I'm probably
Hmm.
wrong. But the way I view them, I'm sort of like, well, am I just going to press one button and then it plays the
Yeah,
game for me?
yeah, 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 and yeah, I think we're on the same page. I don't truly understand them enough to think I could engage them effectively. So I'll just trust myself. I'll just trust myself for the time being, unless they make some major changes to my spec that I need to know how to use them. I'll just leave them for others. That's cool.
And you never heal. Why is that?
Oh no, no, no! I don't heal and I don't tank. I made a priest. Oh goodness me, a few years ago now. And I thought, all right, I have played this game long enough. I can surely heal. And I think I got through one dungeon. That was it. I was so stressed. I found it was such a responsibility to keep everyone alive, and I also felt like I wasn't, because I've been a DPS my entire, and in other games as well, I'm usually DPS. I didn't get the enjoyment out of it. I think you're a healer. You love to heal people. There's a sense of, I think in your personality, healers are healers. That's what they love to do. They love to assist people to keep them up. But for me, it's give me someone to burn down. Let me get my minion and I out, and let's kill some things basically. And so I felt distracted. I felt like I was missing half of my gameplay because I was healing people. Not that I didn't feel like that was my role, but I missed my game. I missed my part of the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
think, yeah, I definitely think you're as a healer, you're looking just at the other characters
yes,
and their
yes,
avatars really more than anything.
yes, yes.
What's the best music to run a dungeon to?
Oh, goodness, that's thrown me a little bit. I try not to have vocals when I'm running a dungeon because that will distract me, and I need to hear the sounds of the dungeons. I even listen to the sounds effects of the spells and what my other I'll call them teammates are doing, what the other party members are doing in the dungeon as well. And so I try to have fairly quiet music in the background. I know a lot of people will have really loud music or metal but I like to have pretty chill house type of music just so I can concentrate on what's going on. I'm very much a sound orientated player.
Going back to your tweet about encouraging people who want to stream to get out and stream, obviously the response has been big. How's the experience been for you?
I I didn't expect that response. As I say, I've been researching how to grow your channel and to learn as much as I can about Twitch. And a lot of the larger streamers have been saying engage on multiple platforms, make sure you have a YouTube going on, and be active on Twitter. And I had made a Twitter account called Haughty Chicken a little while ago, actually for other reasons. I was going to make some sort of political commentary many years ago on different things. So Haughty Chicken as a name has been around for a little while. The little chicken didn't probably think she'd get into gaming, but this is where we are. And so I started looking at Twitter and watching how people were engaging. And I kept seeing faces of gamers saying, "This is me, I'm going live." And I look at all of these images, and none of them were mirroring back at me again. And I thought, I'm going to put my face out there again, which is a really big thing for me to do. So I took that photograph of myself with my little headset on, and I thought, alrighty, here you are, world. You can either ignore me or not, but I'm just going to put it out there, grey hair and all. And it got picked up by quite a lot of people, and then a community manager from Blizzard retweeted it, and then Blizzard Australia New Zealand retweeted it, I think, and then some other Blizzard employees started following it, and then some other people started to DM me and private message me, and it just took off in a matter of days. And I thought, oh my goodness, even my adult children contacted me and said, "Mum, what's going on?" So I had to take a step back and think about how to respond and what to write back. It took me a couple of days, because the whole point of me putting it out there was less about really come across and see me, come to my channel, come subscribe, whatever. It really was about saying we're here too. And I think it hit a nerve. I think the fact that so many people retweeted it and are still liking it and still making comments to that one tweet tells me that there are more people, male and female, whatever gender that you are, that are playing the game and even wanting to stream. And some people are saying, "You inspire me, I need to hear this." And that really, really touched me. I think one of the greatest comments that I saw was, you are the changing face of streamers. And I thought that was quite profound. That really shook me a bit that day when I read that. So it's been delightful and inspiring to me. And I almost feel like I'd like to advocate even more for older gamers and older female gamers in particular. And I say that just because that's who I am. But it has been amazing. It's been amazing who has picked up on it, like people like yourself, because I really do consider myself this pretty ordinary nana in the suburbs of Melbourne, Victoria. But to see these other people following and coming to my stream and saying, keep going, you're fabulous. And also, I get a lot of messages of, you are so wholesome, you are so cool. There are a lot of, streams out there that perhaps are a little bit unkind to some folk, or perhaps a little toxic, or not even that. Perhaps they don't necessarily give back to what you may want as a viewer. So it's been nice to get encouragement that I provide something a little bit different. That was a very long answer.
No, it's great, and you should feel great. It was an excellent tweet, and I've since become a fan of your stream.
Thank you.
I very much like some of the phrases you use. I think one was you were referring to an NPC, and you said he thinks he's a legend in his own underpants.
Oh my God. You have been watching.
I very much liked that one.
Okay.
Since the tweet, who's the coolest person you think to reach out to you?
Look, I think I can't deny that I'm a Blizzard fangirl. So to have the Blizzard community managers and Blizzard themselves both liking and retweeting was very, very exciting. I'm also very much a fan of Taliesin and Evertel. And just this week they did their weekly reset content, and they put my photograph at the end. And I didn't know that was happening, and I was sitting having a cup of coffee, and I almost fell off my chair. That was quite the moment. But really, anyone who's connecting with me, and this may sound trite, but any person that connects with me or follows me, and I don't care if they have one person following them or 1,000 following them, I love every single person that is now encouraging me to continue. I didn't think that this would happen this way. I thought it'd be just some little hobby that I'd take up, that I really wouldn't get anyone following me, and I'd maybe just fall away to the wayside. But I don't think that's going to happen.
You've got a fan base now. You can't let them down.
No. They all love Haughty. They all love Haughty chicken, and they all love being in what we now lovingly call the chicken coop. So yeah. I really, other than Blizzard, I think every single person has wowed me by pun intended, by following me. I think they're lovely.
One more thing from your stream that I've picked up on, and I have to ask about. You mentioned Australia has holidays for sports.
Yes,
and that is amazing to me. You have a horse racing holiday and an Australian football holiday?
Yes, we do. The Melbourne Cup is a very big a horse race here. Just a little caveat there. I'm not a fan of horse racing, but is a very big horse race here in November. It's usually the first Tuesday in November, I believe, and those in the metropolitan area get the day off. And that's been around for many, many years, whether you're into horse racing or not. So and of course, Australian Football League, we get that day off as well. So only in Australia. Only in Australia.
Yeah, do you think there will ever be an e-sport holiday in Australia?
Oh, look, I'd be all for that. Maybe that should be a thing. Let me pop that on my list of things to advocate for. So older gaming, streaming, and e-sport. Got it. I'll get right on that.
Okay. I think the last thing I'll just ask you about, you got 4 generations of gamers in your family.
Yes, I bring that up quite a little bit, and I suppose I do bring that up more so to talk about the fact that my mum games, and that's part of my encouragement to older gamers to sort of try and get out there. My mum plays Rust, and I don't know if you're aware of Rust, what sort of game that is, although I will stress she plays PvE Rust. But yes, my mum is 77, and so she plays video games daily, which is fantastic. And I will tell you a little story. She was ringing up her local internet provider here, and she lives in a gated retirement village type of situation. And she was ringing up the local provider to increase her bandwidth, what have you, in a new plan. And the woman on the other end responded. She said, "But do you really need anything bigger than what you have?" And my mother very proudly said, "Of course I do. I'm a gamer." I still smile. I can imagine the person at the other end going, "Alrighty then." So yeah, she plays, and I've played for a very long time. I think my parents got Pong on the TV. It was black and white TV back when I was, I'm going to say possibly 11 or 12. I'm thinking. And my adult children, they're in their 30s now. They play. They both play. My daughter particularly plays Fallout series, and my son plays first-person shooters. And aren't they watching their mum's journey on Twitch very carefully? And then my grandchildren they're only wee littlies, but they're aware of gaming. They can't not be. So Nana's got plans for them they sit on my lap when I play WoW. They're watching Nanny's games.
Are you the original gamer in your family?
Yes, I think so. I think so. I would say yes. And then it of course was my children, and then went to my mum. So it sort of, I think it did stem from me. I've not really thought about that, but yes, it would have come from me.
You really are a games advocate.
Absolutely, I am. I think it's wonderful for
Spreading the
your mental
gospel.
health and your self-care and for socialization. There are so many good things to be had. As long as it doesn't impact your daily life, I'll put that little caveat out there, then I think there's nothing bad with it.
Well, if anyone wants to see your streams or learn more about Haughty Chicken, you can find Haughty Chicken on Twitter or go to twitch.tv/Haughty Chicken. Thank you so much for being here.
It is my absolute pleasure, and thank you for reaching out to this little fish. You've made me feel quite special, I have to say.
You're very much on the way to being a big fish, I think.
We'll see how that goes.